Girl,
Dude,
let's talk about it.
welcome.
Today we are changing things up for a special milestone episode.
Yes, spoilers are still on the table because no one can predict what will come out of our mouths, so let's get into it. If you watch a show and don't immediately trade memes and giggles with your best Judy, did you really have the few viewing experience?
Of course not. When the credits roll, that's our signal to debrief.
I'm Jose Miguel,
And I'm Lesley.
and we've been friends since we were kids.
And we realize some shows are just too good not to gab about. This is Heated Reverence.
Where do we begin, honestly? Because it has been a full journey. I mean, we started in January, and we were having conversations via voice notes back and forth. And now we've kind of we've birthed this baby into the world after 6 months of literally figuring out a process, creating a brand, creating a formula that works, and a formula that we thought were well, let's just see what happens, and hoping for the best kind of a thing. How do you feel about it now that we've unmasked this? We've birthed a child that's now 9 weeks old at this point.
Oh man, I didn't know what I was signing up for. When I agreed to do this with you, I was looking for a project to develop my video editing skill set, but I had no idea all the layers that were involved. You, as somebody who's been podcasting for years, you really undersold how much work it is.
What? What do you mean? No, me?
You're it's a lot, but we have all these tools that can help us. And it was just wow, Rude Awakening, hats off to you, much respect, because you've been doing this for years. There have been multiple times where you have talked me off the ledge because I'm we're doing all this and nobody's going to watch our shit.
You can get lost in the sauce of trying to hope and wait that someone's going to click the button to listen or subscribe or download. By the way, subscribe because we want more subscribers. But besides that point, it could take forever. I mean, if I had to think back to 2020 when I first started podcasting, I was oh my God, I got 20 downloads in a month. This is great. In a month, right? In a month. I felt like it was a need to celebrate. I mean, it was insane back then. It was a game. And you basically roll the dice and you hope for the best. You were someone who I want this project to be something that helps me learn a skill that you hadn't really learned before. Everything about it was new, from talking into a microphone, speaking into a camera, looking at a script. And then you went into video editing mode. Girl, you fucking took it over. You own the shit. It is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. I will say that. When we were talking about doing this podcast, I was we should do a podcast. I don't know how many times I said that to you. And I was just there's something here. This could be something good. People will watch this because we will talk shit out of our asses. It really just makes it entertaining. And if anything, I'd been dying to have a co-host for a podcast for years. I've been a guest on I don't know how many podcasts at this point in the last 7 years of me and my journey. But I've hosted and produced in multiple podcasts. So never having a co-host, always having guests. So I was itching for something where I could have somebody else to volley off of. And that was the energy that I wanted to do this with, was you had a concept of creating what this looked like from a formatting perspective. But in my mind, it was I just want to shoot the shit with my best friend. And I want to have a good time Kiki-ing. And that's all I really wanted it to do.
I was really trying to develop structure just to keep myself sane, because I was building learning how to drive the plane at the same time that we were building it. So what kept me motivated during all of it was just us. Making a clip that I knew was going to make you laugh was basically the motivation behind keep going when I was
I was laughing
out
the whole time.
Software.
Here's the thing. I know your work ethic, And I know that like when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. There's no convincing you otherwise. You don't give up. So I knew that like it was going to be hard work to roll up your sleeves. But you also admitted wanting to do that. Like you're like, okay, I want to learn this. I was like, okay. I think what changed that acceleration rate of learning it, like your learning curve, was the fact that like we then decided when we were going to launch, when we were going to go live. And that's where it became like, oh shit, grab onto the oh shit handles because shit's about to go steering left real fucking fast.
I'm blown away by how many people have grabbed onto our stuff so early on in the process because I was told and be prepared to be releasing stuff into the void. But even before that, like just checking in with you, I mean, we've been friends since we were basically zygotes, and I think we now check in with each other working on this project more often than we had in years. Like, I don't think since like junior high days was the last time that we were like this checked in with each other
For
on
real.
on a regular basis. That and like whenever there was like a devastating breakup that we needed to talk each other off the ledge about. Like, other than that, we attempt to like check in with each other for a short burst of time and then like fade away and then check in again, you know? But like now it's like on a more
There's not a day where we're not checking in with each other multiple times a day.
it gives us an excuse to like, I know all the different things that are going on with your life on a daily basis. You know all the things that are going on over here, you know? And so like that's been really rewarding as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's always those friendships where like you know the person well enough where you can just pick up where you left off. And I feel like for us, it's always been like we just go and live life, but we always know where we're at. We're like always there for each other no matter what. And I think with this, like there could have been another person that I probably could have done this with, to be honest. You're such like a communicator and like you over communicate, but to the point where like it doesn't seem like it's over communication. And I was like, if there's anybody can write the fuck out of something, it's you. And so I just felt like, okay, this is gonna be really good because I can entertain the shit out of anything. And I know what like looks good, but I feel like also at the same time, you blend those two things together from like my creative brain and like your ability to like effectively make something sound and read and look good. I was like, this is gonna be gold. Like I just in my mind, I was like, this is gonna be gold. To your point about like the void, yeah, I never thought that we would have a reel that has 160,000 views right now. To me, it was like, wait, what is happening right now? My Instagram notification, every time I went to go accept a new reel, that one reel was insane. I'm like, I kept watching it. Even when I went to back to check, like in the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, I was like, what is wrong with this reel that people just love it so much? Is it because he's like, I made salad and it's in the fridge? Like, I mean, it was so heartfelt, but I'm like, we need to recreate that. Like, it just to me was like, Lesley, what the fuck? What is going on? Like, I've never seen that. And it gave me goosebumps. I felt like, wow, we did something really good that it struck a chord in people in a really powerful way.
Yeah.
And I was just like
how fucking poetic that it happened for the third episode. It was a reel that belonged to the third episode of the series because the third episode of the series was for us when we locked into how special this show was. So I was just like, this is poetic. It
really was.
The heavens are making it come together.
I have goosebumps right now talking about it. And it's not because I'm hot in my office. I was just like, God, these two guys love each other. Like, you can't deny that shit. Just the chemistry that was echoed. And I'll never forget that reel.
We hit a nerve, apparently. Like, there were other reels that I created that I thought, like, okay, we're going to get roasted for this. We're going to get criticized for this.
I was waiting for people to go after me in the comments.
It was crickets. But then this one thing that I thought was, like, really benign. Like, we were comparing the two couples, but not in like a negative way. People were fucking triggered.
Yeah.
And it was just like, whoa, okay. Like we didn't realize we were hitting a nerve there, but we loved the discussion. We loved the feedback. We loved because to your point earlier, there's not a lot of people in our lives that will go deep dive into a show.
There's nobody in our lives that will go deep dive in a show. I mean, we can't even get our husbands to watch the damn show with us. How about that?
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I mean, so here's what I'll also say about that. Y'all, if you're not subscribed to us, do us a favor, because I'm a numbers person, and when I say numbers, I don't mean that like I do math. I'm horrible at math. I'm analytics. I'm a data person, and I'm not a data analyst. I do geek out over numbers. So we have goals.
Yeah, it also helped me with my project.
We have goals.
Is, get this bitch a job.
So for the record, if we rewound for just a hot second, don't forget to hit subscribe. But if we rewound for a hot second, Lesley's objective for doing this project was for her to level up her skill set in creative ways of using media. So
y'all, I moved to the sticks. There's like no middle management positions. Like even if you're a director, you need to be hands-on. The comms teams are hella small here. So like I needed to be able to say that like I could do it all, you know? And so I was looking for some kind of project to be able to encapsulate, to be like, okay, here's my work portfolio. This is how my skill set has evolved over time, et cetera, et cetera. And so you being your inner coach got activated and you were like, I got just the project for you, bitch.
I sure did. But I mean, the thing of it is that like I take the 6 years that I've been doing this for, and granted, none of the platforms, like 6 years ago, we didn't have all of these tools. They just didn't exist. I was fucking using Audacity to fucking edit my voice so that when I had a pitchiness in my sound and I was moving tracks together, I was recording in Zoom and exporting the file to put it into another tool. It was messy. So I knew that like giving you a space where you had the creative freedom to do what you wanted, but also make all the fucking mistakes because we can fix them quickly, was the exact thing that would level your skill set up to that level of where I felt there's not one communication opportunity that wouldn't want this person, because it's a perfect dynamic of saying you have a strong communication background that you don't need more in that skill set, but you're incorporating marketing to marry those two together. And what does marketing do? There's a social media aspect of it. There's a content creation aspect of it. There's a little bit of advertising to get the person's psychology going. And that was the part you had to kind of school yourself while using all these tools to learn. I feel like you've done a killer fucking job. I have to say, hats off to you. Like, we would not be where we are today if it wasn't for all there was tears, but the sweat equity, the time, the endless hours, the multiple like, let's get through this, we have to re-record that, and all that back and forth. Like you sunk your heels in that you never wear into the ground. And like you said, we're doing this way. And I was like, okay, yes, chef, let's fucking do it. And I was like, game on. Like, and here's the thing, like, it's fucking beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. Like I'm obsessed with what you've done and where we are and where we're going with it. I absolutely love it. And you should be very proud of yourself.
Thanks. Okay, now I'm going to feel awkward, so let's move on. All right.
Do you want to tell people though? Like, I want people to know. So here's a little bit of backstory, because this is getting to know us. What do you do?
What do you mean? What do I do? Like,
well,
my
besides
career
being
background?
like, girl, you just said you want a job. Here's a platform, bitch. Tell the people what you want a job in.
My background is in higher ed specific communications. I just want to be an asset and feel like I'm contributing to a team. I want to be able to feel like I can meet the needs that they have, but also like I could also help them level up. And, you know, guys, the real is that we moved to the state. We're originally from Queens, if you haven't caught up on that already. We're originally from Queens. I moved to the sticks with my husband in hopes of starting a family. That hasn't worked out for us. So, you know, I can't be a do-nothing bitch for forever. So
I mean,
raising my dog is only going to last me for so long. And you can't put all your stock into a dog because dogs don't live as long as we do. So like having this project, falling in love with freaking Heated Rivalry when I was recovering from surgery, you know, and then talking to you about it just like ignited the passion in me. Like, okay, now I know where to apply the skill set that I've been trying to be able to showcase in some way. I want to be able to like be like, yes, I am capable of delivering. Here's proof of what I've delivered, which is why we're like, hey, have you subscribed yet? If not, why not? It's free. It's free 99.
It is free 99. You can't get better shit by not subscribing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you get the two of us and you get some really good content. Let's talk a little bit about how the impact of us launching literally 9 weeks ago tomorrow has changed how we engage with people on the internets.
Well, I mean, first of all, I've learned how to not take myself seriously.
Oh, that was really hard for you.
I mean, no, it's not the not taking myself seriously because I'm a silly person behind the scenes, but like getting caught trying, being wrong and loud. Like, okay, for example, we did that whole like clip about the beautician thing, and I really thought that I had something figured out, and I didn't have shit figured out.
Great.
And they were coming for me in the Needle app was basically roasting me, like basically feeling secondhand embarrassment for me for how long I was wrong. I hereby acknowledge, listen, I have a blind spot when it comes to hockey. I was not attracted to the show for the hockey of it all, but duly noted.
Was anybody who watched the damn show for hockey?
Apparently there are people who like...
It was sold to us as a dudes playing hockey show with a little on the side. But when you got into that first episode, you locked in because you got the
hockey's
sports
on the side. Yeah.
Sure. We want to talk a little bit about what the beauticians mean because we had so many different guests and people. So between 3 different social media platforms, we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, and we've got Instagram. All 3 very different responses.
Yes. Informing us, though. They informed us, just the matter of the way that they went about informing us was different. But yes, basically, it's a hockey term. Okay, it's hockey jargon, basically meaning that somebody's really skilled on the ice. Duly noted. Roger that. Yes, Rose. All of that.
Right on top of that, Rose. Literally, but not literally. But the thing that was really amazing was that we got people to connect with us. When we think about it, we basically set a standard for ourselves that we kind of have to continue delivering on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people are liking, not by like clicking the button, they're just watching it. Like when you get views like what we've been getting in a very short period of time, there's a recipe there that we've somehow came up with kind of accidentally in a way, but also like intentionally to curate that has really stood out. And I think in some platforms, like Facebook for now is like blowing up in a really weird way that just didn't pick up in the beginning. And we're just seeing it take off. So no matter where you are, here's the thing. If you go to YouTube, that's where we want to see our people. We want to share where we share. But YouTube is where we want to grow. And it's where we want people to come and join us because we're creating a community there. And we're creating a space that will continue to post content that probably will live in YouTube more than other places. But we're sharing it in the other places because we know where you people live. And so we want to be intentional about that. So do yourselves a favor so you don't miss a drop and you don't miss the good stuff. Go to subscribe on YouTube for us.
Just to be completely transparent, we had a game plan on how we were going to go about the show, our podcast, how we were going to cover it. And we were going to cover up until the Game Changer book. And then we were going to basically take a break from the cottage. This was the original plan, to take a break from the cottage while we try to grow our audience, while we try to find our audience, to decide whether or not if we should cover the long game or not. Or like, not for nothing, spoilers are being almost impossible to like avoid at this point because people in the comments are hitting us up with revealing stuff too. But like, we wanted to be intentional. The fact that we got people who were watching our content so quickly really kind of made us need to pivot because we do appreciate everybody who is currently subscribing. Every 350 plus of you so far, are subscribed, and we really appreciate that. So we want to make sure that we keep you engaged as we move on to our next show, which was something that we had already committed to, invested our time and our energy and our money into doing prior to even launching. So while we cover that other show, which we'll tell you more about that later, we want to be able to still check in regularly with Heated Revelry, right? So we have a couple of different ideas on how we're going to go about doing that, all right? Okay, the first one would be listener feedback focused episodes.
Yeah, so this is us being able to take what you've been sharing with us in the comments, across all different platforms, and us being able to do a deep dive into the comments and being able to take what you're sharing with us as idea topics and being able to dive into that. So it's us being able to discuss, what ultimately you've been saying to us with our reels, with what we're sharing with you, but also being able to look at this from an opportunity of like, is this good or bad? And like, what is this approach going to look like? Because we want to hear from you. The only way that we'll continue to produce the content that we've been producing is when we get feedback from you. So that was one idea.
Just to give you guys like a rundown, a real quick topics that you guys have brought to our attention have been power dynamics and relationships, difference between love and lust, consent modeling, allyship, the time jumps. That's just to name a few that we've just jotted down while reviewing the comments so far. Pros and cons about that. Pros is that we're being able to respond back to your direct feedback, which is amazing. The con is that we're also doing this other show. We would do check-ins, but just not as often as the weekly sequence that we've been doing so far. So that's that. All right. Next idea would be to kind of give you a sneak peek of like what we are like behind the scenes. So we've been friends for forever, and we've been talking about different TV shows, different forms of entertainment since forever, right? So the way that we do it, because we're both chatty Cathys and because we need the time restriction of the 10 minutes voice notes, we trade voice notes when we are consuming something that we're really excited about. And that's how we communicate regularly. And that's what we did with Heated Rivalry. So what we were thinking was that we would cover the other books, though not Long Game. We'll cover the other ones, Tough Guy, Common Goal, all of those first. And the way that we would do it would be, instead of a voice note, we would record ourselves how we would normally talk to each other and post those as shorts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea here is that like instead of a long format podcast episode like we've been doing week after week, taking this idea of hearing your feedback, if you think this is a good idea for us to do and you want to see us do this, we would basically record ourselves talking about the other books except Long Game, but producing it as a short or a reel. So you would be consuming that instead of a long 30-minute episode where we're going deep into the actual book.
Yeah, the pros on that is some of the feedback that we got for the Heated Rivalry book was just that it was too short. So this would be us giving our raw, honest reactions in real time as we're experiencing these books, so that we don't like overshadow. There were whole chunks of the book that we never even discussed because we were so like enthralled with discussing the epilogue that or is it prologue? Shit, whatever. The ending of the book that wasn't on the TV show that kind of overshadowed the rest of the book. And so if we did this in real time, doing our raw reactions, we could, I feel like, do the book justice. And the pros would be that we could make sure that we're providing stuff on a weekly basis, because 3 minutes here and there is not much to put together on a weekly basis.
I think the con is that we're not actually producing a long form episode that they can go back to watch full length. We're basically taking what would be a long form episode and breaking a 30 to 45 minute conversation down to clips of 3 minutes max in this instance. So, and also to kind of clarify, as we were thinking about all of these different ideas to share with you for us to get feedback from you on, bear in mind that we are making a move to doing another show as we prepare, for at least a trailer of something this winter. For Heated Rivalry too, but to be able to say, okay, you know what, we're gonna drop. I don't know what the cadence will be, but maybe at least an episode that's Heated Rivalry specific, at least one on each month.
And that kind of takes us to our third option. It would just be us applying our usual format, what we did with Heated Rivalry, the book, and Game Changer, the book, but applying it to the other books. Pros and cons, just right off of the top of our head. We've noticed that people have specified that they appreciate that we insert episode clips into our episodes. We can't do that with the books. So the tone, the energy might not be the same because
The vibe is limited.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing. And also we have to get aligned as to we're going to have the books read by this time. And it's a little.
We be busy bitches over here.
Right. Exactly.
The fourth idea is it's a reheat for us, but it's a first time watch for our husbands. So neither one of our husbands have watched the show. And the idea here is that we would record their reaction to watching the show while we kind of just engage and see if they ask us questions while watching it. And then Leslie and I would then come back and compare notes to what that was like and record our reactions to them watching it and really publish an episode of that. And that gives us essentially 6 weeks of content, if not more, depending on how we, put it together. It would be fun. I think it would give a different perspective. Our husbands are men of very few words. And so you get what you get, but we would love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to see this kind of
and then hear us bitch
evolve
about their reactions to it.
Yeah, because I'm sure people who are obsessed about the show, and if you've got a significant other who's watched it with you or you've made them watch it after you watched it, couldn't it just be more fun also, seeing someone else's perspective? I mean, I will sit there and watch a reel of somebody who's sharing it for the first time. Who was the one that we talked about where he was sharing with his grandmother?
Oh, no. That was Ethan for you.
But then where was the other one?
Hashtag Karen Egg.
So yeah, I mean, those are just the ideas that we've got as we kind of think about, okay, we want to continue to put content out there that's Heated Rivalry specific as we're going through the next pivot that we're making with the podcast itself. Something to also know and that you should be aware of is that just because we're doing a different show doesn't mean that we don't have the same love and passion for Heated Rivalry. We just want to continue to be podcasting and continuing to doing Rewatch because this podcast is a Rewatch podcast. And it'll always be Heated Rivalry as our baby.
Yeah, that's our home show. But because of now that you guys understand where the idea of this podcast came from and the need that it was trying to meet for me, we committed to doing The Bear right after because we wanted to be able to still consistently produce stuff so I didn't lose the skill set, so that I didn't start clamming up in front of the camera, stuff of that nature. Because Jose's somebody who's it's like riding a bike. I never learned how to do that either. So
I forget that you don't know how to ride a bike.
So I need the consistency. And so that's why we decided to pivot to The Bear because that could keep us busy while we're waiting for a trailer for Heated Rivalry, while we're waiting for people to tell us if they want to hear the long game as a book covered, et cetera, et cetera. We were just pleasantly surprised that y'all came to the party on time, really.
Well, it's one of those things where we did not give an assignment, but you sure should gave us one. And then you not only showed up, but you came in with your coffees, your favorite
thoughts,
beverages. Yeah.
your
I mean,
insights.
it's been so, I'm grateful. I feel gratitude that we've got an audience that's really connected to wanting to see what we're going to drop week after week and what we're going to discuss. And our chatty Kathy gives us something to do. Look, I wanted this. I've wanted to have a podcast where I had a co-host. This was a goal and objective that I had for a long time, and it was a matter of finding the right person to do it with. So I couldn't be more honored and privileged to do it with you, and I love you, and this has been such an amazing, fun, like, journey to do it with you. So, yes, the next show we're doing is The Bear. And something to know about The Bear is that I've never seen The Bear. Leslie was the one that came to me with the idea, and I said, "Great, let's do it." And she was, like, really hesitant about, like, "Well, what if you don't like it?" I was like, "Well, you wanna do it, let's just do it." Like, am I gonna like it? Maybe. Am I gonna love it? I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Obviously, if I'm recommending it, it's a show that I love, but it's such a different vibe on the surface, so that made me hesitant, like, what if you're not in for this journey? So that's why I was nervous, because I feel like if we could get through the first season, you will fall in love with the show. And, like, just so you know, we've recorded our first season already. So, like, we're eager for you guys to see Jose's journey,
I have
his
so many comments.
his
I'm
evolution
such an
on the show.
asshole. I'm a legit asshole. I mean, I'm an asshole on a good day, but, like, I come in hot in this show, so you're welcome. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think that it's not a show that, I'll be honest, that I would've probably watched on my own. I'm looking forward to it. I and I'm starting season 2, so, like, let's bring it on. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand why it seems on the surface that it's completely unrelated, but there are commonalities, the fact that, Shane is like this neurodivergent, autism. Okay, I know how to pronounce that word. Autism spectrum, but he's highly functional. And so it's never like flat out addressed, right? We have characters in The Bear that have issues that are never flat out addressed, but they're written very clearly that they are going through some stuff, right? And so, like, watching them navigate their journey, the series of personal growth that each individual character goes on, but it is beautiful. And I really feel like when people look back at The Bear, like in the history of television, they're not going to be having like the cliche conversations about, is it a comedy or is it a drama? That's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It's going to be like this amazing depiction of complex PTSD. Like, how like eating disorders, there was a time where like that wasn't common, people understanding it, and then television helped you with that. There was a time where people didn't really understand bipolar depression and things of that nature. I feel, at least for me, The Bear was the first time that I saw complex PTS being depicted in a show very accurately. And so I think that, it's a worthwhile journey if you guys want to watch it just for the Kiki-ings, because afterwards, his raw reactions will never not make you laugh.
I mean, the thing that I have to say too is that, like, as we've talked about it and without giving anything away, when I look at the comparison of like what Heated Rivalry has done for society, for culture, for television, but for the LGBTQ community, I feel like there's a opportunity where we see diversity at its finest in the mix of inclusivity in a really toxic work environment. But the way it evolves is how these individuals learn to lean on each other the same way that you see a hockey team push each other to the limits to succeed together. And that comparison, that dichotomy to me really stands out. And like, I'm not trying to say this to convince you that like follow us on this journey of The Bear, but I am saying it in that way because I feel like I had a hard time to connect it for myself and going into, I was like, well, we've just watched a really different show and now we're going into this one. And now after kind of doing the first season, I'm like, you know what? There's more in common that we probably don't even think about or even talk about. So that's for a whole nother conversation. But join us for the bear because I think that you will enjoy our reactions, enjoy our conversations, and if anything, you enjoy me just running my fucking mouth about it.
Yeah, and if this little conversation right now isn't enough to convince you, make sure you're subscribed because coming to the feed really soon is our trailer that will show you how we're going to go about covering and discussing the bear.
And if there's anything that I want people to know about us is that when we dropped the trailer for Heated Rivalry, which feels like 1,000 years ago, it was something that like we talked about heavily and we were like, we're going to do this trailer. And I was like, okay. And then I realized this is fucking gold right here. Like a trailer is something that you watch when you're watching a movie. Like you get excited for it. I can't wait for you all to watch it.
I hope you're subscribed. I can't say that enough.
Hit that button.
Because what we're going to do to try, because it's just like now you understand that it's a really small team that's trying to put this whole entire thing together. It's hard to like quantify the feedback in all the different platforms. It would make our lives easier if maybe we can do polls when we drop this particular episode right now, there should be a poll in the comments section where you could let us know, out of the ideas that we have for how we can continue covering Heated Rivalry, which one resonates with you the most, which one you'd be more interested in watching.
We want people to subscribe so they can find our information quicker and they know where to find the content that we're dropping week after week. So by us putting this poll out on YouTube, it'll give you the opportunity to have a say in what we put out, Heated Rivalry specifically. Yeah. And then join us for the bear.
Well, now that we overshared with the internet, I think it's time to wrap this up.
Join us next time when we have a lot more content cooking up, and make sure you drop us your thoughts on our pitches in the comments. Heated Reverence is hosted by Jose Miguel Longo and Lesley Obando.
If you enjoyed obsessing with us, hit the like button, and more importantly, follow the show or subscribe so you're invited to every hang session.
Tell us your own heat and heart score or the exact second a scene ruined your brain on Instagram and TikTok at Heated Reverence. You can also catch the full video version of the show on our YouTube channel.
And for long-form thoughts that need more than a caption, hit us at heatedreverence@gmail.com. We'll see you next week.